The Plaza of the Globe here at Global Ventures is now starting to take shape. We've now got some very beautiful gardens here at the entrance, a nicely lit plaza where people can enjoy food and drink, a gondola station that will one day take guests to the back of the park, and the beginnings of the first proper ride here at Global Ventures. Hey everyone, it's M4J here and welcome back to the new Global Ventures version 2, Global Ventures 2024. I haven't fully decided on a series name for this yet, but welcome back to Planet Coaster 2, and we are here in the new Global Ventures. We are currently hovered over Plaza of the Globe, which is the welcome area for the park. You can see we've got the railway station in the background and the Hotel of the World behind that. Every time I look at this, I love it just a little bit more. Although I'm sure in like 6 months or so, I'm going to absolutely hate it and want to rebuild it all. But that's for then. That's when DLC comes out and it creates new pieces that we can add. For example, all of these buildings over here might finally get some actual interior decorating done. And maybe some crowd control as well, because this is mental. And we still got, I don't know if you saw it there, they were like gliding across the ground. The leg animations don't always work. It's a little bit odd. Something else that's a little bit odd, I need to recruit more janitors because we've got tables here that are messy and there's a bin there that needs emptying and there's a bin here that needs emptying. And I plonked a janitor down in here and they just walked off. So yeah, that needs changing. Apart from that though, everything is hunky-dory here in Global Ventures, and we're about to add to the park today. So the first thing we're going to do is, or one of the first things we're going to do, is the gardens in this area here. We're going to fill out basically pretty much all of these areas. This little area here, all of this area here. Round the side here we're going to leave for now. You'll see why later. We're going to fill this area, this area, this area, this area, and then these little areas in front of the shops. With little flowers, little plants, little bushes, little hedges, make it all look very nice and very pretty. And then after that, I think we're going to dig out the lake, or start to dig out the lake over in this direction. And then hopefully today, we're at least going to start the dark ride, which is the 7 Wonders of the World. Now, I'm trying to remember as many of the 7 Wonders of the World. This is the ancient wonders of the world, by the way, not the new modern wonders, which is, I don't know. I think something like that Mount Rushmore is on the new list. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about things like the Great Wall of China, Pyramids of Giza, Colossus of Rhodes. Is it the Lighthouse at Alexandria? And the 3 others that I can't remember. Let's just quickly look up what those are. Colossus of Rhodes, got that one. Great Pyramid of Giza. Oh yeah, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, the Lighthouse of Alexandria, the Mausoleum at Halicarnassus. Try saying that 3 times quickly. Statue of Zeus at Olympia, Temple of Artemis at Ephesus, and the Great Wall of China. And we're going to build a ride that encompasses all of those, hopefully. Depends on scenery pieces, of course. But again, we might come back and do a second pass in the future when DLC is released. So yeah, like I said, first of all, we're going to start off with some gardens. We're going to plant things up. We're going to stick to a similar theme to what we've got over here. But I'm going to try and use this bush here less, or this plant. I think they're rhododendrons, periwinkles. They're not rhododendrons, they're periwinkles. I'm going to try and use those less because I kind of just throw them in as like a background thing, and that's not really what they're for. I'm also going to wall line all the way down this ramp, and all the way down this ramp, and all the way down that ramp, and I'm also going to put fences in so that, I mean, guests don't kamikaze themselves and off the side like lemmings, but I'm still going to make it so that in real life people wouldn't be able to do that. I think in America they call it don't die fencing. In Britain we just call it common sense, don't go over the fencing. But yeah, let's get started on these gardens, try and make it all look nice and lovely. So as this gorgeous steam locomotive simmers away here up in the station, let's take a look at the gardens around it. So first of all, there's this side here, which, if we don't go through the hotel, Mark, there we go. This is what it looks like from the ground. I think it looks pretty cool. You get just enough of a view of the loco there as it goes across. I've also extended the station building out a little bit here, just so it looked like it was running on something, because I didn't want the train to come all the way up here because it might look messy and it might encroach on the gardens here. So I added this little like building bridge, and then that joins an embankment here that's hedge lined. It won't be hedge lined all the way around, it was just for the sake of this bit here. And as I said, if you look at it from the ground there, it actually looks pretty damn cool. We have a similar thing here on the other side. Let's just scooch over there. There we go. Rocks, bushes, flowers, left a little bit exposed here because I thought that would look pretty good. You'll notice that a lot in a minute. There are certain areas where I've just left it as grass. Excuse me, there's the throat again. I've just left it as grass. I used both Disneyland Paris and Alton Towers as inspiration for what I've done here. And Alton Towers, a lot of it is just open grassland. And even Disneyland Paris, there's a few areas where you can see grass and mud underneath. So I thought I'd try it out here, and it worked quite well. This whole area here has been left empty. You'll see why in just a minute. We've also got the track here that does basically the same thing. This track layout will change. It was just a sort of hypothetical, where would it go at this point. I think the embankment and the bridge here will stay the same, but this section here where it runs through this massive hole that I've dug, again, more on that in a second, I just wanted to get an idea as to what it could look like. And I used the concept map as an example, and kind of worked, kind of didn't, but yeah. This is what the Plaza of the Globe looks like then. So originally I was thinking of doing patterns down the sides here. Maybe like flags of the countries that are featured and things like that. Way too much work, let's be honest. So I just decided to keep things a bit simpler. I also recruited some help, which I'll go over in just a second as well. First of all, let's talk about the flanks again. So this side here where the railway is, we've put some rocks there for the embankment, which I think looks quite nice. And then just some generic bushes and this tree in the middle, which is a sycamore maple. Very nice. Over here at the toilets, I've put in a marble-lined planter with a bald cypress in the middle, and then some bushes and some flowers around it, which I think looks very nice as well. Can't remember if I mentioned this before, but I've also added a third staff room because we just have so many staff members. It's insane. Yeah, lots of people. Over this side, it's quite simple really. We've got a tree here, a London plane with some rhododendrons around it, and then some ferns, and then a couple of bushes here just to cover up the front of Foods of the World, which has been given a bit of a makeover. I wanted to do this more, and I think I've overdone it a little bit on this side. So what I might do is remove that one and then move this one over. Yeah, I think that makes it look a little less crowded. It was big white blank spaces which looked really weird, and I kind of wanted to add something here as well. I might put a line across here just to break this up a little bit more. Ultimately, not much of this building is actually going to remain. I hope when DLC and stuff comes out, this whole building is probably going to get completely renovated. And we'll make it look a little bit nicer on the inside, because right now it looks a little bit boring. As I said before, building interiors are not my specialty. Skipping over the main plaza itself, we'll come back to that later. I've also given some of these buildings a makeover. Again, I was experimenting on this one, so it's a little bit busy. We could calm that down at some point. I've also done the queue here for the Global Express and made a sign for it. These are nice pieces, by the way. I enjoyed using these. I actually put the text on top of it first, not realising that it came with text. So that was a nice surprise. We just put some flowers around it and under it to make it look nice. And then we got this lovely hedge-lined queue. Don't get used to the Planet Coaster 2 logos, by the way. They will be gone in the next update, we've been told. So I won't walk the queue because it's a bit boring. And a bit repetitive, but basically it's a slalom back and forth. I think I extended this queue off camera as well, so it's a little bit longer. I think it stopped here before. Now it's got 2 more switchbacks, and then it's got this nice long curve. The arches are a nice touch, and then each one's got flowers, and then there's a tree here at the end as well, although you can't really see it from anywhere. You can probably see it from the train, but again, it's not like you can look down and see it. So yeah, onto the plaza itself. So I asked my partner to help me out with this, because I think she's got a better eye for this sort of thing than I do. And she came up with this idea of sort of random patterns of different coloured flowers. So I think she started with this bit and worked up and went up to this yellow section, and then I did the rest. I think that's right. So I like these little random patterns here, although this is the only place where we have those. These notifications, I believe that's changing in the update as well, because my god is that annoying. But yeah, we got a mix of the periwinkles, the generic flowers here. We've also got foxgloves, and then yeah, more generic flowers. We've lined it with ash trees. I used a random number generator to come up with random numbers. Funny enough, that's what a random number generator does. Between, I think it was 60 and 100 originally for these trees. So they're all different sizes, which I think actually adds to the whole thing. Makes it look a lot more realistic. You know, some trees grew better than others. This poor one here, really bad winter. Nearly took it out completely. Look at that. Absolutely tiny. There are some random rocks in as well. You see there's a nice line of rocks just to break up the flowers. There's a couple of rocks on this side too. And then down under this massive oak. This is a scale 200 oak, by the way, which I think looks freaking awesome. This is the entrance weenie. If you're anywhere in the park and you need to find your way back to the entrance, just look for big old oak and that will take you there. But yeah, I'll put this hedge line here to say flowers end now, and it's just grass and bushes and rocks. Again, I think that looks really cool. And I put these tiny rock walls along here. Again, I think this is the only place where I'm going to do that, and it's just to make it obvious that, you know, don't step over. In Europe, especially in the UK, we don't really have fences either side of the paths like they do in North America. And even then, they don't have it everywhere in North America, just most places. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just, I don't know. I don't even want to guess because I don't want to offend anyone. Can't even speak. I don't want to offend anyone. But it's something I've noticed. Again, Alton Towers used as inspiration for this. They just have little rocks around some of the planters, and it stops people from going. Well, it's supposed to stop people from going on them. We don't always stop going on them. This side here, we've got a sycamore again. We've got some rocks, and then it's basically the same thing up this side. Obviously, the path going across here provides a nice natural break. I don't know what those people are doing. And then it's just random flowers again. And then we've got a European ash in the middle there. And again, some more rocks. And it looks very nice. And then at this end here, I think these are ashes as well. Yeah. These are small ashes. These are medium ashes. Probably throw a large one in somewhere. There's a nice elm. But yeah, I'm really happy. It looks really cool. I absolutely love it. And just to make it look even nicer, I'll put some lights in down the center here as well. And this view in particular, I've already grabbed a screenshot of it, but I might do another one in a second. This looks awesome. And if I turn off the fixed lighting, look at that, man. That's just so pretty. It just looks so good. I'm very, very happy with how this project is going, but I do want to pick up the pace a little bit. So, there's a couple of things I want to do before this episode ends. And I'm saying this on a Wednesday, realizing that I would like to get it up on the Friday, but it might now be delayed. If I turn around this way, as we know, this whole area here is going to become a massive lake. There are going to be 2 transport rides still to be built. One is the boat that will sit probably in the center, although I'm tempted to move it to the right hand side of the plaza here, but I like the idea of it being in the center, and then you've got that sight line all the way down. The other one is a gondola station, which on the map is over here. And actually, I like the fact that this path kind of cuts in the way it does, because you can imagine the queue entrance would be somewhere around here, and then this would be the gondola building itself. So that's the first thing I want to build, but I also want to dig out the lake. So I think I might try and dig out the lake live right now, and then we can go and build the gondola station, or at least build the gondola ride station, and then I'll go off camera to do the rest. So let's first of all flatten to foundation. Oh, there's one more thing I forgot to mention with the gardens. Let's do that quickly as well. So you'll notice I've lined all of the wall here with the marble thing. This took me ages because it just wouldn't line up properly. It was very annoying. And just when I got, like, up here, it looks perfect. This is supposed to be a gradual slope. Up here it would be perfect, and then I would get down to this end and it would suddenly be above. In fact, you can even see it there. This section, this grey line here just suddenly disappears. I'm thinking it's this. It's changed the elevation change slightly. And then, yeah, this is where it became a bit finicky. So I've actually left a bit off the end there because it was starting to stick through into the path itself. Might put some rocks along there just so you don't notice it. The other thing is, this here is all a gradual slope up to the point where the first bench section here sticks out, and then it stops and it becomes just flat. On this side, all of this is flat, and then it just drops down. I think there's a slight fall away. Yeah, there's a slight fall away, which there wasn't originally. This was all flat as well, but I thought this would look nicer. And then again, this whole section down here is flat. Right, cool. Let's put the fixed lighting back on as well so I can actually see what I'm doing. Right. Here we go then. We've got a big brush because this is all going to be one massive lake. In fact, we could probably do 100% intensity as well just to speed this up a little bit. So I'm going to go with a flat bottom lake and hope that the water in the terrain paint is enough to hide it all. The idea being that I'm just going to dig out this area here first. We're going to dig the height of the lake that we want. And then we're going to just add to the lake as we continue to extend the park. So again, if you go back to the concept map, I need to post it somewhere. I might stick it on my Discord if you want to check it out. So you just got a fixed place. You don't have to keep going back to the video. Although the views are nice. This section of the lake is probably the widest bit. It is huge. So we need to make sure that we get this bit right. And then everything else comes off of that. There's also the fact that just around the corner here, and I've already come up with a solution to this problem, but I'll present it as if it's a problem anyway. Oh no, we have a river rapids track that needs to get under this path. What are we going to do? The solution I've come up with is when it forks off, both ones will be on an upslope and it'll just go over the river rapids that way. So the actual lake level, that was so anticlimactic, I'm so sorry. But the actual lake level is going to be... Where are we at? That, I think. And even then, that might be too deep. Something like this. So already I'm going to cut out a bit of a space here to leave room for the gondola. And then it's going to curve back in like that. I think this is going to be our lake level. We will create a slightly smoother bank going in, just to make it look a little bit nicer. Let's just flick over to OBS again, make sure I am still recording. Appears to be the case. So yeah, the boat dock, I was tempted to build that now as well, but I've heard people complaining that once you've placed a boat ride, you can't adjust the water level. And once you've placed the water level, you can't adjust the boat ride, which becomes this weird catch-22 situation. And considering we're going to have 5 boat docks, each one's only going to be built as the park expands, and therefore as the lake expands, I'm going to have to be constantly rebuilding the ride, which means it might not always line up with stations properly, which is going to be a massive pain in the massive arse. So I'm going to probably do the boats further on in the park's development, and not even place a dock right now. We'll just do a placeholder jetty or something, so that there's something there. But we won't actually build a ride yet until the park is a bit more expanded. This is going to take forever to do, dig all this out. But I think right now this is a pretty good level as to where we want to be with this. There we go. And then for the water, we want natural water. I was about to say, is it seriously not going to let me place it? But yeah, it's going to be like this. That does look a bit disgusting. It looks very dirty, that water. It is what it is. Alright, let's fix this. Like so. There we are. And then this area here is going to be smoothed out and made to look lovely. There we go. We're just going to completely ruin it like that. The music playing right now, I don't know if you can hear it, but it just, for some reason, reminds me so much of Stardew Valley. It just fits that sort of theme a lot better than Planet Coaster, I would say. It's a very nice piece of music. They've done a cracking job with the soundtrack again for this game. Frontier in general, even the F1 Manager music is pretty damn good. Very sad, by the way, the Frontier news on F1 Manager. Not been officially confirmed yet, I don't believe, but at the time of recording, there's rumours circulating that they've cancelled the F1 Manager series, which I can understand it from a business point of view, but from an F1 fan point of view, I'm like, oh, I wanted to play it next year. It's a good game. But then I seem to be one of the only ones who actually enjoyed the game out of the box this year, so that might be one of the nails in the coffin. Anyway. So this is what the terrain pretty much is going to look like. Already you can see just how deep this water is, but we might need it to be this deep. We don't know yet. I think if I put the water at that sort of level... Does that work? I think that works. So yeah, I'm going to leave it like that. Excellent. And I've left myself this big gap here to work with the gondola. So let's go build a gondola ride, shall we? In fact, let's place the gondola ride first to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. It's very nice as well that this was in the game as default. Oh, hello. Thought it was already unpaused. That this was in the game as default because it was a DLC in Planet Coaster 1. Yeah, let's do this and then let's hit X and then snap distance. It does weird things to the grid when you change the snap distance, which is fine, I suppose. Now, do I want this to line up exactly with this? I think the answer to that is yes, I do. Also, what angle is this going to be? Yeah, that's way too angled. So I need to rotate this more this way, I think. I might have accidentally created the perfect line here. Again, referring to the map, it kind of comes off at like a 20-degree angle, possibly. So even this actually might not be angled enough. I'm going to build it so that the station can be moved like the railway was. Because the railway here was moved like 5 times before I was finally happy with it. So I think we're going to do this. And then we're going to do... What am I doing? That. So apparently that's 4 meters. I don't know. That's kind of the height I'm going for, though. Although saying that, if I reduce it to 1 meter, that's probably more the height I'm going for. So it's enough that you can walk underneath it. Yep. But it's not massive where, you know, you're having to walk up 16 flights of stairs to get to the actual gondolas. So let's do that. And then, yep, this is going to be the end. So we'll have that. Actually, we could have the motor at the other end. And just have this be a wheel. Because you think about it, you'd need like big equipment and stuff. Although we could, in theory, fit it here. It does fit here. Look, there it is, fitting. And then this can all just be a big closed off part of the building. Because that does work. That works quite well. Alright, we'll do that. And then that's that. Nice. So this station, if we go to edit mode, I assume this all works. So we want exit on the left, on the right, sorry, and entry on the left. Which I think is how all of these are going to work, let's be honest. And then, yeah, the track, or the cable, whatever you want to call it, will come out in this direction. Sweet. Awesome. Alright. We'll call that done. Exit there, go to this. So can I not name you? Apparently not. Plaza of the Globe Station. Yeah, I can't rename the gondola, which is weird. Okie dokie. Fine. I'm going to build a station here. Something else, which I might find it as I'm talking. The first game had an option where you could select a station and then you could start a building off of that station. And I tried it with the railway and I could not for the life of me find it. So, is it here? Am I being blind? No. No. So yeah, I don't think there is one, which is a bit sad. But yeah, okay. I'm going to go build the actual station building for the gondola here, and then we'll come back and we'll take a little tour. I don't think I'll ever get bored of this view. This game is absolutely gorgeous sometimes, and I know there's been a lot of complaints about it. Some of them have been fair, justified, like, I mean, people are literally walking through the path right there, although that might be a me problem rather than a game problem. But, God, does it look good. They've done a really good job of capturing the essence of the original game whilst also improving upon it for this game. Some people might disagree with me on that one, but, you know, that's what opinions are for. Anyway, if we follow the path down here, you can already see the build on the left-hand side there, but there is my gondola station. It looks a little bit boring on the outside, I'll be honest. I've gone for the marble design again. Went with some wood on the top though to match the lodge over here. I think this is kind of the architecture for this part of the park now. Although obviously as we head into the Amazon section it'll change a little bit again. But I kind of like it. You know, we've got the sign outside. There's room here for a screen of some sort or some kind of logo or something to go on here. But we got the name, Global Skyway. Big sign there saying Gondola, so people can see that this is the queue for that. And then if I, whoops, press the right buttons, there we go. This is the queue. I'm not going to show you all of it. I'm going to show you some of it. So it's basically just a series of switchbacks. I love these circles that it makes in the middle and the little straight edges. That looks really cool. I wish there was a way that you could do that on this side as well. So that, you know, you can put supports in or something like that. But basically you slalom your way through. You come out of the back here. You go up a ramp. A little bit more slaloming. And then you go into the station proper. Tried to get as much natural light in here as possible. I still need to put lighting along the top here. I'm going to replicate what I've done down here, which if you didn't see, basically just got these lights in the corners there. Way too many lights needed to light up a building like this. I feel like this one here on its own should be enough to light this up to the state that it's in now, but it is what it is. We got a huge block building at the back here as well that we could perhaps do something with at some point. The temptation was actually to have this be the queue for the boat and have the boat connect to this and have it all as one building, and that is actually really tempting still. And then that queue could come in this way and join up with the main path over here somewhere. You'll also notice this staff path that disappears off around here. This is, what have we got? We got a mechanic workshop. I'm pretty sure I fired Parker Ortega, but he appears to be there still. And then we've got another staff room here as well, which I don't think... It might get people in it. We're not at the right time of day yet for that. But yeah, this one, I don't know how to remove you. Staff schedule, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, no one's here. I still haven't figured out staff. They're making changes to staff, I think, in the next update. So whenever that is, I'm sure we'll see that. I'm pretty certain, though, that I fired Parker. Where is Parker? Yeah, I fired you. Why have you not left? Where are you? Are you still leaving? Oh, no, you're in the building. What the hell's going on? Do you know what? I don't think I need a mechanics workshop anyway. So if I just do that. Are you outside now? Yes, you are. Excellent. Oh, wow, you're really unhappy with me. I'm so sorry, but, you know. Sure. So there might be research going on. I don't know. Oh my god, Parker, just go home. My word. Anyway, yeah, sorry. Distracted by Parker moaning. It is really tempting to have the boat here as well. And have the dock. I don't know how big dock. That's a question. Also the bus. That's something cool. Oh wait, does it have its own water trap? Oh, that's annoying. I did see people talking about that actually, but I didn't know if that's what they were referring to. Well, that's kind of stupid. But I can also understand... it's really hard because I've not properly developed a game, but I have worked for a game studio, so I understand the, you know, you can't just tick a box and things work. And the bit that frustrates me about the general public is they think, you know, bugs are easy to fix and features are easy to add. I try not to be that sort of person, but on the other side of it, I'm like, the first game had the track just in the water, and even Planet Zoo has that. So why this needs its own thing, I don't know. Because that's kind of annoying. But I suppose if you place it just right, you can hide it. But that's not ideal. It's a good thing the boats are actually going in at the end of this build, to be honest, because that is kind of annoying. That is kind of annoying, I'll be honest with that one. Anyway, right, sorry. Keep getting distracted, keep blithering on, keep just talking absolute gibberish. The park is starting to look really awesome now. This area of the park is basically complete. We still need to add in the boats, which I've just mentioned, and I think there was something else that came to mind just now that I was thinking about as I was building the gondolas, but I can't remember what. But the one thing that it's really... I think I just heard Parker again. Are you kidding me? Lunatic. There is one thing that's definitely missing, and that's this big dark ride here, which is the 7 Wonders of the World. So, I suppose I should get onto that. Now, I think what I'm going to do to finish off today's episode is just do the track layout and come up with an idea for that, which I'm also going to build off camera. I know it's not the most popular thing in the world to constantly build things off camera, but it allows me to just, you know, sit and think about what it is I want it to look like, and not have to worry about, you know, I'm being not watched, but you know what I mean, like I've got to try and trim it down and make it fit into so many minutes of footage. So I'm going to go and build the track layout here, and then going to show you what the track layout looks like, and then we're going to wrap up this video. And then next time out, we'll do all the theming and things like that. So yeah, let's put some track down and see what we can come up with. Man, I still never tire of this view. We have got some progress updates to talk about, as well as a little gripe that I've discovered about the game, which I'm hoping can be resolved via an update in the future, or via, you know, fixing a glitch, or maybe even addressing a game mechanic that I didn't even know about. We have also got a lot of staff members walking up and down here. You'll see why in just a second. But first of all, let's take a look at this. So this is the station loading area, whatever you want to call it, of the Wonders of the World, or just Wonders of the World. The first dark ride here in Global Ventures. Now, before anyone comments, yes, it's supposed to look generic. If you go back and look at It's a Small World at the 1964 New York World's Fair, you'll see that it's actually a very, very basic, boring looking building on the outside. But on the inside, it's loads of really cool stuff, like singing dolls that haunt your nightmares, and a song that you can never get out of your head. That's what I was going for here. Not the doll or the song or anything like that, but the whole aesthetic of... It's a basic looking building. The idea is it's meant to look like a pavilion at a World's Fair. So we've got the entrance down here, which I'll talk about in a second. But this is the main crux of the building here, which is the ride itself. So we've got, ignore the spin there, I'll address that in a minute as well. But we've got the continuous loading here, and then they go up a ramp into the show building itself. On this side, they come out of the show building on the flat. If I now zoom out, you'll see just how big this ride is going to be. It's pretty big, it's pretty massive, but you might have noticed a problem. This is an omnimover. Omnimover means continuously moving, or all moving, I think, if you use the actual translation. It's supposed to be one single conveyor belt of vehicles, and for the most part, over here, it is. It's one continuous moving vehicle. It goes through the loading area, loads up with people, or it will load up with people eventually, and off it goes. This doesn't work here. There is a gap between this vehicle here and the front vehicle, which is right the way over at the back of the ride. I'm not even sure if half of the track is populated right now with vehicles, which is a bit of a annoyance, but there could be a reason why. I've had a couple of warnings about power recently, and I'm wondering if there's a power thing, like it can only... No, because you've got quite a lot of power available. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it might be the more power you supply a ride, the more vehicles it can run. But I think it might actually be a game limitation, which is very, very irritating. Because as you can see, the last vehicle here is loaded. It's full and it's leaving. I think there's also a slightly bigger gap between some of these vehicles at the back, which is a bit weird. I might also restart the game in a minute to see if it's just a graphics glitch, because that's possible as well. But yeah, the front vehicle is all the way over here, and it's going to take like 5 minutes to get back to the front, which means there's going to be a queue building for 5 minutes. This is the queue in here, by the way. I'll talk you through the story of the ride in a second, because I don't think I've actually done that properly yet. And you'll also see why the track is looking the way it is, with all the ups and downs and things like that. But yeah, to follow the queue for a second, it does a little snaky thing on the outside. We'll put some bushes, some trees, a marquee sign. I'm tempted to actually lift this roof slightly so we could put a proper sign on the side of the building here, because there isn't actually... I suppose we could put it over here instead and have this be sort of a subtle entrance to the building. That could work. We'll see. But you come in here, you come into this bit, and it does get very dark for a little bit because there's a corridor here. It will be lit up in the future. And then you turn here, and then you go into the Shrek gates, as my partner calls them, but the cattle pen, basically. The back and forth over and over and over again until eventually you climb up the ramp here and you go into the actual loading area. Once you're on the ride, you go up this ramp here. You go past this door, which is actually going to be an emergency exit. You'll see as well that I've built a staff path that goes all the way down the side of the building now, and also goes along here into Foods of the World. That's done by design. The reason being that once the staff in here go on their break, they can hop out, walk down here, and then go down this way, down the back of the footpaths and everything, instead of having to walk along this section here and potentially ruin the immersion for people when they're walking up and down and a staff member walks past them. No one really wants to see that. No offense if you do work at a theme park, by the way. It's just the way it is. This side they will still have to do that, but they'll come up here and along like that to the staff room. The alternative, of course, is just build another staff room here and hope that they seek that one out instead. I think there is still one in the gondola station as well, so they may use that one. Anyway, this point here, the vehicles turn and you look down onto the queue. You can see there's windows there. There'll be something in the narration, if I ever bother to do a narration for it, that explains what that's all about. You then enter this tunnel. So the point of this ride is you're journeying through time, basically, and via different locations to all the different wonders of the world. So this is going to be a teleportation tunnel, kind of like Dinosaur has at Disney Animal Kingdom, Disney's Animal Kingdom. Forgot the name of the park then, where you know, there's the time travel tunnels at the start and the end of the ride. It's going to be something like that. It's a transition scene, basically. So in this case, you go up a ramp. It's a 12-degree angle, and also your seats tip back 12 degrees. So you're actually pointing upwards at a 24-degree angle, and that's to give the illusion of acceleration, as if you're teleporting somewhere. You then get to this point here where it flattens out, and this is probably the most boring bit of the ride because there's nothing going on here. You just come around this corner here, you come around this corner here. Now this bit, where the seats rotate to turn 90 degrees inwards, this is the first proper show scene of the ride. Now I need to get my list up again. Where is it? I made a list of all the show scenes in order. So this is the Lighthouse of Alexandria, this first one, which I believe in the real world was something like 100 meters tall. Something like that. Pretty big. One of the biggest buildings in the world for its time. So that's going to be recreated here. We're going to try and build it as close to the real thing as possible. I've got Google Images up, but obviously there were no cameras then, so we're relying on sort of eyewitness drawings. But this is the Lighthouse of Alexandria. This is the first scene of the ride. Then we go into another transition scene. This is another uphill section where the seats tip right back. You can see the full effect of it there. This is the second show scene, this little one here, and it is quite little. It's only this little sort of U shape here up until the seats straighten out again. So it's quite small. This is the statue of Zeus at Olympia. This is probably the least impressive, and that is saying something because it's still impressive. It was a 40-foot statue made out of gold, ivory, and wood. And he sits in his throne. I think he's got a trident or something in his hand, but that'll be located here. Then we go into another transition scene, which takes us up underneath the railway. More on that in just a second as well. And then we come to the third scene now. This is the mausoleum at Halicarnassus. Quite an impressive building. Big square block, basically. So there'll be a wall across here, and then there'll be a big facade here to represent the mausoleum. And it'll be probably a similar-ish height to where the railway tracks are. And the reason the railway is here is because as the train comes along in this direction, you'll be able to look down on both the mausoleum and also the ride track here, which I think is quite a nice little bit of interaction. We then come into the next transition scene, which takes us up to the second highest point of the ride, I believe. I believe so. And then this is the next show scene, which was originally the Colossus of Rhodes, but then I changed it to be the Great Pyramid of Giza, purely because of how big this area is. And again, there'll be a flat wall across here, and then the pyramid facade will be built onto that. Hopefully this all works out and you'll get a nice big pyramid here that you can look down upon. We then have another transition scene, except this one's on a slight curve. Reason being is I had some problems with some of the track here, just getting it where I wanted it to be. And even this one, I actually think if I straighten this up and then built the curve here, I could probably do a better job of this. So next episode, this may have changed slightly. But this next one here is the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. I might be pronouncing that horrifically wrong. This is, well, to be honest, I haven't Googled what this one is. It says on this little description that I've got here, it was famous for its architectural splendor and cultural significance. That doesn't tell me much. What was it made out of? How tall was it? When did it exist? We don't know, but you know, it had architectural splendor, so we've got that at least. And even the little image with it is just a picture of a little wall and a small column that's in ruins. So that's not very helpful either. So I'm going to go away and do some digging and find out what the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus actually is, or was, because it doesn't exist anymore. And I'm probably also going to straighten this up and build a slightly different curve shape over here, just to make this look a little bit nicer. We then come into the penultimate transition, which takes us up past the pyramid scene and basically on top of Zeus over here. Now this is the Colossus of Rhodes, which I think was one of the most impressive statues ever built, never mind of its time. It was 100 to 110 feet tall. It was the tallest statue of its time, and it's a statue of Helios, the Greek god of the sun. Excuse me. So we're probably going to have loads of spotlights flashing on it. I'm going to try and make it look really nice and really cool. We then come into the last transition, and this one is on a very sharp curve, 90-degree here and here. And this takes us into the climax of the ride, which is arguably going to be the most impressive show scene as well, which is, of course, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Now, I've found some images of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, and my oh my, if that thing existed today, it would probably be the world's most popular tourist attraction. It is stunning. So that is going to take up this entire block here. We're going to try and have waterfalls cascading down it. We're going to have tranquil music playing on speakers, all that sort of stuff. And it's basically what the ride's been building up to this entire time. I think the tallest point of the ride is actually this section here where you do enter Babylon. We'll see. But yeah, you can sort of see the footprint of the show building. It's going to come down here like this in a straight line, across the bottom here in a straight line to probably about here. Then it will come up a little bit, along again. Again, it depends what ends up happening with this section. And then it'll be a straight shot across here, a little indent here, and then a straight shot to here, where it'll then change direction and run diagonally back to over here. We have two buildings doing this. This is the Wonders of the World Station, and this is the Wonders of the World Show building. Hopefully, by the end of all this, this will look very impressive. I've already bitten off way more than I can chew with this one. Even just thinking how to light these scenes, never mind actually build and theme everything, is already giving me a massive headache. But hopefully it's very much a doable project. And I'm kind of looking forward to getting it finished, to be honest, and moving on. Because I'm very much itching to get onto the next section of the park. But I did say in my preview for this series that I wouldn't move on until I'd done as much of the original area as possible. And then obviously once we move into Soul of the Amazon, we'll stay there until that's finished, and then we'll move on to the next one, and so on and so forth. So you can get a sense of scale here as to how big this is going to be. This show building is probably going to be one of the largest, if not the largest, in the entire park once it's finished. There will be other rides, like Tech Tours, for example, and the Australian dark ride that's going to be, I think it sits in this plot here, if I'm not mistaken. I do have the map open on my other screen. Yeah, there or thereabouts, it sits here. So I might even move it over to this bit and have them be best buddies next door to each other with some storage units or something in between. Because I am also trying to go for realism. Like I said, we've got this staff path that runs along the side here, and we have got evacuation points. So there's a door, spin around, there's a door here, that leads in and out of the ride. There's a footpath that runs the entirety of this, which will never get used, but it will be visible, and that's the important bit. I haven't done any of this stuff here, like theming all this yet. That will happen soon. Once this section here comes down, we'll try and find a way. It might even be via a path here that connects up to a door somewhere in this transition scene, maybe. We'll see about that, because that would be kind of cool. There'll be another one over on this side. Again, it's not really the right height, so we'll probably just build this out and across until it is the right height. We're actually pretty close on this side to being at ground level, so I'll probably build one here as well, and connect it up, maybe round the back this way, over to this path over here, something like that. And yeah, we're just going to do that with the entire ride. We'll probably have a path that goes around the whole perimeter of the ride, staff path, just to make it look like there's evacuation points and things. We'll also build some kind of boneyard over here where ride storage will take place and things like that. And we'll just make this look like an actual theme park. That's the idea of this. But yeah, I think this episode has pretty much run its course. Next time we're going to be theming the wonders of the world, and hopefully we'll get the whole lot done. And that should be coming out next week. But as I said in the preview video, there's no timeline on these episodes right now. They take as long as they take, basically. If you know how to make the entire ride be populated by vehicles, let me know down below. That'd be very much appreciated. If it is just a limitation of the game, then I guess I'm just going to have to suck it up. I've looked through all of these tabs, to my knowledge, and I cannot find anything that says number of vehicles. I did find this, which is the dynamic ticket pricing, which is kind of cool. It changes the price of the ride according to how long the queue is, to try and control the queue. That's kind of a nice touch. I don't know if that was in the game at the start or whether that was added in a hotfix, but that's kind of cool. I like that. But yeah, prestige, it won't be under that. Operations, yeah, there's nothing here. There's just power used and utility power and car mass and things like that. There's nothing where you can change the number of vehicles. Maintenance doesn't have anything. Customize, you can change the colors, which is what I've done, but you can't add or remove vehicles. And then the advanced settings, there is nothing here that I can see that allows you to change the number of vehicles on the ride. I was debating adding a priority queue, but I think an Omni-mover like this wouldn't really have... I guess some rides at Disney have fast pass. I think I would just build a straight shot down here and then snake it alongside the queue path here. So I'll have to rejig the queue here slightly to make it fit. I also don't know how thick the priority line queue is in this game. I know in Planet Coaster 1 it was the minimum width of the queue paths. So we'll see. Anyway, that'll do for this episode. I'm liking this. The more I look around the park, there are bits that I don't like. This building here, I'm really not a fan of right now, but I will become a fan of it, I'm sure. I like the concept of it, the whole food court of the world thing. There's just aspects of it that I don't particularly enjoy, like the architecture. So, once I get my eye in, and I start getting better at building buildings in this game, because I think there's a distinct lack of pieces as well that don't really work. Oh, I also added awnings to these buildings. I can't remember if I showed you that before, but I've done that now. Make it look a bit better. I think I added some. Yeah, I added some here as well. Sorry, distracted myself. I think once they add more pieces to the game, DLC, custom content, things like that, the game will become a lot more creative. But right now I do feel like the creativity is a little bit stifled by the lack of options available. But that could just be me. There are some very, very talented people out there who are managing to make do. So chances are it is just me. But let me know down below as well if you agree with me on that one, or if you don't, how you get by with the lack of pieces. Because there might be something I'm missing as well, for all we know. There are loads of tabs here that I just haven't checked out, like the props one. And there are lots of really cool things here that you can use to make stuff, like, you know, all these storage containers and things. And these are just things made out of metal. There's so many more that can make it look really, really cool. So if you've got any ideas on how to do that, let me know down below. If you want to collaborate on this park with me, check out the details in the description, Patreon and YouTube. members will be able to join in the not too distant future and help me theme these rides. We'll use the collaboration feature in the game. So when I'm not on the park, you'll be able to download it, play it yourself, and theme some rides, make them look cool. I feel like this is something that I'm going to need help with. So if you're interested in helping out, as I said, details are down below. Besides that, I'm off to have a cold shower because I've literally spent like 7 hours building this ride, including the building here, and I don't want to look at it anymore right now. So until next time, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and of course if you're enjoying the series so far, drop some comments down below with ideas for future episodes. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you for your continued support. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and until next time, I will see you soon.